Informed consent is an area in medical malpractice litigation that addresses whether or not a patient was properly advised of the risks of a procedure. In addition to the risks of a procedure, a doctor is supposed to advise the patient of alternatives and other treatment options of the procedure that they're about to undergo. And normally when people think of consent, they think of consent forms, a form that someone actually signs authorizing the doctor to go ahead and proceed and perform the surgery, the treatment, the tooth extraction, the operation to remove the appendix. Any type of surgical or medical treatment that requires consent is usually put down in a consent form. So first of all, to see whether or not there's a proper case of lack of informed consent, you want to check and see whether or not the doctor gave the patient a form and the form was signed. Not only is it important to have a signed form giving consent for a procedure, acknowledging that you understand the risks of the procedure as well as the alternative treatment options, it's important that the doctor explains to the patient what those risks are, not just handing them a form and asking them to sign it. We've been very successful in winning cases based on a lack of proper informed consent where a patient has signed a consent form, but it turns out that the doctor never explained the details in the form and never really explained and covered the areas involved in the procedure. So what we always do when we're consulted on a medical malpractice case is we look into the issue of whether or not there was proper informed consent, whether the patient was informed about what they were about to undergo. And if they were not informed, then that in and of itself forms the basis for a medical malpractice case. So even if the surgery was done properly and there was a bad result that occurred as a result of the risk of the procedure, if the patient was not informed of that risk and had the option to decide not to go ahead with the procedure, then they would be able to bring a lawsuit based on lack of informed consent. If you have more questions regarding medical malpractice or informed consent, please feel free to contact us for a free evaluation. You can click on the free evaluation button on the left side of the screen. We'll get back to you very promptly. Thank you for visiting AskSmileyLaw.com.